No one makes coffee like you, Louise.
She's a legend. Louise, old timer.
Oh, will it be Al?
Coffee.
Morning.
What's it to you?
How is it?
It's like sewer water.
Now, what do you want to do that for?
Butt out, old man.
Well, she didn't do anything to you. What's your problem?
I don't have a problem. The world has got a problem. Oh, hell, I transfer my job, sell my house, I pick up my stakes to come here, and then they lay me off. I'm telling you, Mac, I can't go any lower.
I guess you made Louise feel the same way.
I don't know what a man is supposed to do.
I'll tell you what someone said to me. The most extraordinary person I ever met. I was 11 years old. My father was giving a lecture tour around the world. We went to India, a place more strange and exotic than I'd ever seen. Well, we saw everything. The Taj Mahal and all the other palaces. We ended up in Benares, a city on the sacred river Ganges. Benares is the holiest city in India, a place where all the religions of the world come together in harmony. A place of spirits and mystery. We were invited to stay at the Hindu National College. I was supposed to be studying geometry, but I decided to take a look around.
Would you like to play?
Sure. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be studying.
So am I.
Great.
You can play on my team.
What is your name? Well, my parents call me Henry, but you can call me Indy.
Jiddu Krishnamurti. This is my brother, Jiddu Nitya.
You have the same first names?
Where are you from?
New Jersey. I'm American.
Here, we see the last name first.
Wow. So, what's the inning, what's the score, and who's up?
Who is up?
Yeah, who's batting?
Who is batting? You.
You guys ought to think about getting a new one of these. Must be Indian rules. Hum it in here. Come on. Give me your best shot. Hey, wait a minute. You can't run off the mat like that. Safe.
What are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm playing baseball. What are you guys doing?
We are playing cricket.
Cricket? What's cricket?
What's baseball?
You don't know what baseball is? Ty Cobb, Cy Young.
No.
I'll show you. First, you gotta break up into teams of 9. Not bad, Sanjeeva. Okay, top of the 9th, 2 outs, 6-5. Us. We can't let him score. Sanjeeva! First! Throw it to first! Great throw, Kay.
Thank you, Indy, my friend. This baseball is a fine game.
Henry? Henry Jones!
Geometry. Thanks, guys. I gotta go. Thank you, Indy. Goodbye, Indy. Goodbye, Indy. Bye. Don't have to be sore at me. I was learning culture.
You were doing nothing of the kind. You were playing baseball.
That's right. It was a cultural exchange.
A cultural exchange is the transmission from one population or community to another of the totality of its behavior patterns, arts, beliefs, and institutions. One would have to agree that the flogging of a small sphere with a bat is not a cultural exchange.
But they taught me how to play cricket.
Really? You learned how to play cricket?
The pitcher's called the bowler, and a curveball's called a googly.
Well, you did learn some cricket. Perhaps the afternoon wasn't a waste after all. I hope you didn't wear yourself out for tonight.
Where are we going?
To a reception given by Mrs. Annie Besant at the Theosophical Society. I'm not in favor of your going. Your father, however, feels it would be educational.
Do I have to wear a jacket and tie?
Yes.
Annie Besant is...
She's a believer in free love, and she's a socialist and an atheist.
She's not as bad as some people insist on portraying her.
Well, she certainly seems to have a bad reputation.
Yes, she does. But so do many people who, how shall I put it, go against the grain. The fact of the matter is, Annie Besant is a remarkable woman. She's an advocate of women's rights. She was also the first woman to enroll in London University.
Was she really?
Yes, Helen, she was. And she's a friend of George Bernard Shaw's.
The playwright.
Who also happens to be a socialist.
Yes, the playwright, and many other prominent people. Mrs. Besant cannot be easily dismissed.
Father, what's theosophy?
Well, theosophists believe in the commonality of all religions, what they call a brotherhood of man. They're interested in psychic and supernatural phenomena. There's even a rumor they found a messiah, some sort of great spiritual teacher.
I know flim-flam when I see it, Mrs. Jones. Occult, supernatural, new messiah. Oh.
Let's not prejudge things. We can all see for ourselves and let cooler heads prevail.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Professor Jones, welcome to the Theosophical Society.
Thank you.
Make yourselves at home. You are just in time. It's a very special day.
Greetings, friends, and fellow members of the Theosophical Society. Those who don't know me, I am Annie Besant. How wonderful it is to be here in Benares, the holiest of cities. Our work is progressing wonderfully. Our membership is greater than ever. I would like to introduce you to someone, a young man who has shown unusual spiritual purity. May I present Hubert Van Hook. But today, my friends, we are gathered for a very special occasion. I believe you all know Mr. Charles Ledbetter. Charles.
Thank you, President Besant. I wish first to express the Society's gratitude for the generous donations offered tonight by two of our newest members, Mr. Mukherjee of Calcutta and Mr. Richard McCallum, just arrived from Edinburgh. It is always a momentous occasion when the spiritual powers send one of their own to teach us the way. So it was with Sri Krishna in the 4th century BC. So it was with Jesus Christ in the 1st century AD. The coming of a new world teacher has been prophesied for some time. Several months ago, friends, I was walking on the beach at Adyar. I saw an Indian boy. He was possessed of a magnificent spiritual aura. It separated him from all others. I immediately brought him to the society compound and conducted a clairvoyant investigation into his past lives. I immediately recorded the results of that investigation in this book. The spirits of the boy's past lives spoke to me. I knew then that I had discovered the new world teacher. Friends and colleagues, I present that boy, Jiddu Krishnamurti.
Hey, I know that kid.
Lovely introduction, Charles.
Thank you.
What is your impression so far, Miss Seymour?
Well, I haven't seen any holy spirits, if that's what you're asking.
Indy,
Oh, hey, Kay.
have you hit any home runs lately?
No, but I hit a few wickets.
Oh, these are my parents, my father and my mother, and my tutor, Miss Seymour.
Very pleased to meet you.
I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
I'm Dr. Henry Jones of Princeton University. This is my wife, Anna, and my son, Henry Jr.
How do you do?
Good evening, Henry.
Pleased to meet you.
And this is my son's tutor, Miss Helen Seymour. Miss Seymour is a member of the Royal Society of Literature and the Royal Victorian Order. There are many Oxford scholars in her debt, myself included.
After that introduction, Miss Seymour, it is my honor.
Good evening, Mrs. Besant.
Come on, Kay. I'll teach you how to throw a curveball.
And I'll teach you how to hit a googly.
So, what do you think of our humble little gathering?
I'd say it's not so little.
Nor so humble.
Ah, a disbeliever.
No, Mrs. Besant. On the contrary, I believe in quite a number of things.
But not theosophy.
No, madam. If you'll forgive me, not in an organization that exalts a young boy to its world teacher.
Charles, do you have a copy of your book?
Oh, yes, Mrs. Besant.
I would like Miss Seymour to read it.
Madame is welcome to this copy. This is a record of the past lives of Krishnamurti.
Perhaps you will reconsider your opinion.
While you're in Benares, what the Theosophical Society has is yours.
How very kind.
Would it be possible to see around the society grounds and the library?
Of course. Why don't you all come to tea tomorrow?
I'm afraid we have a prior engagement.
I'd like to.
Good.
But, Mom, they promised.
Hubert, please, not so loud. We'll talk about it later. Come on, honey. A multi-faith approach is one of the founding principles of theosophy, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Theosophy is Greek.
Yes, that's right, Henry. Do you speak Greek?
Well, Theo means God, and Sophia means wisdom, so I guess theosophy would mean wisdom of God or something like that.
Wow. What a remarkable boy.
Don't give him any ideas. Henry does have a special aptitude for languages. Tell me, Mrs. Besant, while we're speaking of extraordinary children...
Oh, there's no need to be diplomatic, Helen. You want to know whether the young Krishnamurti is a fraud.
Well, yes, so I do.
Charles Ledbetter spoke quite well last night. Did you read his book?
Yes. I'm curious about him.
Where can I begin? He is my friend, my colleague. In spiritual matters, I trust him implicitly.
I don't want to unfairly cast aspersions on his character, but I am skeptical about Mr. Ledbetter's claiming to have seen Krishnamurti's aura and claiming to have had a vision about Krishnamurti's spiritual past.
Helen, Charles did have a vision, and his aims are the same as mine and every other member of the society, to seek spiritual truth. Charles has immense psychic ability, Helen, and his book proves it.
Hey, look. What are they doing over there?
It looks like meditation.
It's a kind of mental discipline, Henry.
Oh, you mean like geometry?
No, not like that. When a person meditates, instead of filling the brain with thought, he tries to empty the brain of thought.
Why would somebody want to stop thinking?
Well, when somebody stops thinking and empties the brain of thought, then he only has to deal with what is left.
What's that?
Peacefulness and tranquility.
Wow. I'm gonna try it.
You'll be all right, Helen. Helen, you must open yourself to spiritual experiences, or you'll miss so much.
Annie.
Charles.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. Mukherjee and Mr. McCallum would like to present their donation checks to the Theosophical Society.
Yes, of course. Helen, would you mind?
I understand.
Charles, will you continue Miss Seymour's tour? You could show her the library.
Yes, all right.
Helen, will you join me for tea later?
Thank you, Mrs. Besant. I read your book. It was most interesting, especially the description of the conversations with all those spirits, the people Krishnamurti was in former lives.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Some of the spirits, you state, are thousands of years old and are from a variety of cultures and ethnic groups. I couldn't help but wonder something.
What?
How did you communicate with them? Do they speak the king's English, or are you fluent in ancient languages, Greek, Sanskrit?
Yes, I do speak Greek.
Oyster hoti nun lego.
You have become less than friendly, madame.
No, merely inquisitive.
Well, that was a rather dirty trick, trying to expose my ignorance of Greek. Alhos, hores, eu epistemai, Hellenisti legain.
Well, so you do.
Are you finished with your interrogation?
It isn't an interrogation, Mr. Ledbetter. I'm simply curious about all this occult and supernatural activity. For instance, the aura. In your book, you stated that you instantly knew Krishnamurti was the New World teacher when you saw his aura on the beach at Adyar. This is supposedly a field of energy which surrounds Krishnamurti.
All living things emit an aura. Krishnamurti's was of a brilliance and intensity I had never seen before.
Do I have an aura?
Yes, in fact, you do.
It's funny, I can't see it.
I can.
Oh, you can see it. Because you're a psychic, right? You have telepathic powers. So tell me, what am I thinking now?
Miss Seymour, psychic power is not something to be joked about. Your skepticism is merely a reflection of a rather limited Western education and upbringing.
Well, let me ask you another question which exhibits my limited upbringing. That American boy, young Hubert Van Hook, the one Annie discovered in Chicago before you discovered Krishnamurti here. What does his aura look like?
Rather dull, like yours. There are many things which cannot be seen through Western eyes.
I don't believe in what I can't see.
Miss Seymour, you're a Christian, correct?
Yes, Church of England.
And as a Christian, you believe in God?
Yes.
Have you ever seen God?
No, I have never seen.
And Christians believe in the devil, don't they? They believe that the devil can walk the earth, don't they? Have you ever seen the devil? Miss Seymour?
Indy,
Oh, hey, Kate.
what are you doing?
Meditating. It's pretty hard. I got all the thoughts out of my head once, but then I started thinking about apple pie.
I'm going for a bicycle ride. Would you like to come?
Great. At the reception last night, Mr. Ledbetter said that you were sent by God, like Jesus. What did he mean?
Who do you think God is, Indy?
My Sunday school teacher says that God is an old wise man who lives in the sky. He's got angels all around him. But if you're bad, he punishes you. But if you're good, he rewards you.
That is the way a Christian sees God. But remember, Indy, you are in Benares, where all the world's religions come together. You know, Indy, the ancient Greeks and Romans and Egyptians believed that there was a God for peace and one for war, a God for birth and one for death, a God for everything. Then the Jewish people decided that there was only one God, and the Christians declared that Jesus Christ was the Son of this God.
He said that God, his Father, had told him to come down to earth to save us from our sins. Do you believe in Jesus, Krishnamurti?
I believe that Jesus Christ was a great man and a great spiritual leader. But it is not important what I believe. That is the Buddha.
Who's he?
He was a great spiritual leader too. His followers are called Buddhists.
Did the Buddha know Jesus?
No, Indy. The Buddha was born 600 years before Jesus. The Buddha was born a prince.
A prince?
Yes. His name was Siddhartha. He lived in a big palace. He got anything he wanted. Gold, silver, fine clothes. But all the suffering of the world, disease, poverty, war, was kept from him. Then one day, he walked outside the palace. He saw a sick man, a crippled man, and a dying man. And he was really saddened by what he saw. And from that day, he renounced all his wealth.
All of it?
Everything. And he left the palace to wander amongst the common people. One day, he sat under the shade of a bodhi tree. He had a vision. He saw why people suffer. Why? I want you to think of something. You want it more than anything else in the world.
I want to live forever.
But everybody has to die. You cannot live forever. How does that make you feel, Indy?
Sad, I guess.
That is the answer to your question. You see, people want things they cannot have. And that makes them sad, and they suffer. That is what Siddhartha, the Buddha, discovered under the Bodhi tree.
But what did he do about it?
He stopped wanting things he could not have, and he was content.
Was Buddha a god?
No, not like the Christian God. The Buddha is a guide for his followers to lead a more harmonious life, a life based on love and compassion. Choro.
I like this place.
I thought you would.
What is this called?
This is a ghat,
What's a ghat?
a place where Hindus go to bathe in the river. They feel the water of the Ganges is holy and can purify them. There are more Hindus in India than any other religion.
What's that?
A Hindu funeral. The body is placed on a wood pyre and cremated, and the ashes are sent back to this river.
That's too bad.
Why do you say that?
The person's dead. That's sad.
Perhaps, Indy. But for the Hindu, birth and death are a part of life. And when you die, you are reborn in another form.
Who are the Hindu gods?
There are many, many Hindu gods, but the most important three are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And of those three, Shiva is the most feared and respected. He is called the Destroyer. This is the temple to Shiva. And here he is.
Why is he called the Destroyer?
He sounds mean, doesn't he? But really, Shiva is a compassionate god, because in Hinduism, the destroyer of life is also the bringer of life. So what Shiva destroys, he renews and restores.
And now tell me, Helen, what did you really expect to find here last night? A lot of raving lunatics? Holy rollers speaking in tongues?
No, Mrs. Besant, nothing as exotic as that. Though I have to admit, though, that your reputation, well...
So you thought the infamous Mrs. Besant would be a wild-eyed rabble-rouser, living in sin, practicing strange occult rituals?
Yes, I'll accept that. Perhaps I did.
And now, how do you find her?
To be a highly intelligent, dignified, and independent woman.
Very kind. You know, Helen, those are the very words I would use to describe you. So now I think you need no longer call me Mrs. Besant.
I am by nature a formal person. Annie.
Have another cup of tea.
Actually, I'd love one, but I think I'd better go and find Henry. Have you seen a young American boy who was here with Krishnamurti?
Yeah, they went bicycle riding.
What are you reading?
Isaac Newton's Principia Mathematica.
That's ambitious.
This is an Islamic mosque, the house of worship for the city's Muslim population.
Come on, I'll race you up.
You know, Indy, the Muslims worship one God as Allah. Allah's messenger's name is Muhammad.
Who's he?
Muhammad said that he was the successor to Jesus Christ.
Really?
Muhammad was born in Mecca and was raised by his uncle. He became a very wealthy man, but when he was 40 years old, he received a calling from Allah to preach the word of God to all people, that men should be kind and respectful to each other, rather than hateful. His revelations and teachings are recorded in one book called the Quran.
Is that like the Bible?
Yes, for the Muslims, it is very much like the Bible.
These different religions.
May I ask you a question? Why did Mrs. Besant bring you here from Chicago?
She said I was going to be the new world teacher. She said it was prophesied.
But then what happened?
Well, when Mrs. Besant and I got here, Mr. Ledbetter had a book that said Krishnamurti was the new world teacher. And now everybody looks up to him. And I think it's all a fake.
A fake? Why do you say that?
Well, when Mr. McCallum and Mr. Mukherjee heard about the book...
The men who donated the money to the society the other night?
Yeah. When they heard about Mr. Ledbetter's book, they got angry because they weren't mentioned in it. So then Mr. Ledbetter changed the book and said that the spirits talked about them, too. And now everyone's in the book, and they're all happy. And I think Mr. Ledbetter made the whole thing up, and I can prove it.
Her baby's dead.
proper English woman. You subscribe to a strange set of manners, Miss Seymour. I don't believe I gave you permission to go through my personal belongings.
My actions are defensible given the circumstance. I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
I've learned you were thrown out of the Theosophical Society, Mr. Ledbetter. You then attempted to ingratiate yourself back in by discovering the New World teacher, a simple Indian boy by the name of Krishnamurti. But the fact of the matter is you chose him arbitrarily, did you not?
Your allegations have no basis in fact, Miss Seymour. But since you believe that they're true, what do you intend to do?
Expose you. I'm going to tell Annie.
Go right ahead.
Do you mean that?
Oh, yeah. You are welcome to tell Annie Besant. Get out of my office, Miss Seymour. When you're done with the book, please have it returned.
Helen. Something is troubling you.
Yes, Annie. I don't actually know where to begin.
Tell me.
It has to do with Charles Ledbetter.
Oh, is there something Charles has done?
Yes, there is.
What?
The book he wrote about Krishnamurti.
Yes?
In my opinion, it's a fraud, Annie.
I don't know what you mean.
I mean exactly what I say. I think he made it all up.
You can't actually be serious.
Charles was expelled from the Theosophical Society, wasn't he?
Yes, but those days are over now.
And he was readmitted because he supposedly spoke to the spirits who told him Krishnamurti was the chosen one, the next world teacher.
Charles did see the spirits, and Krishnamurti is the new world teacher. You obviously don't understand.
I understand very well, Annie. I believe Charles wrote 2 versions of the book. He only mentioned the prominent members of the Theosophical Society in the second version because they were upset. They were left out of the first.
He did not. He did nothing of the kind.
Annie, he did.
You believe he did. Why?
I have the original manuscript that proves that he did. Look at it.
I won't look at it.
Look at it, Annie.
Obviously, Charles had several different revelations at different times. That's obviously what happened. I don't need to look at it.
But Annie...
Helen, Charles Ledbetter does not control me. No one does. I appreciate your concern. But there are many things you just don't understand. You're a highly educated woman. You think intellectually, logically. We in the society have gone beyond logic. Also, I think you fail to realize the hypocrisy of your position.
Hypocrisy? I beg your pardon, Annie.
You have faith in your God, a God of compassion and tolerance, have you not? Yet you have no tolerance for my faith.
But your faith is in a young boy.
It was clear to the disciples from the first moment they saw him that Jesus Christ was special. Was it not?
Yes, it was.
And it is clear to me, as clear as daylight, that Krishnamurti is special. My faith has nothing to do with Charles Ledbetter's book.
But Annie...
The truly spiritual life is not based on logic, it is based on faith. We in the society understand that, and I'm sorry, Helen. But you do not.
Goodbye, Annie.
Here. Keep this.
Thank you. But what is it?
It's a baseball card. That's Ty Cobb.
I shall keep it to remember you, Indy. This is for you.
Water from the river Ganges.
You are my friend.
You're my friend too, Kay.
Yes. You've asked me questions which I would not answer. You've asked me about Mr. Ledbetter and the Theosophical Society. They have been very kind to me.
Is what they say true? Are you a god?
No. I'm not a god.
But they say that you're this great spiritual leader. Why?
Because they're searching for someone to lead them to God.
Can't you?
No. No person can lead another to God. Each must search for God alone.
Krishnamurti, I was still wondering, who is God?
God is not a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew. God is in every person and in every living thing. There is one thing that all religions say, that God is compassion. God is love.
So that's why you showed me all those different religions, isn't it?
Yes.
Goodbye, Kay!
Annie Besant continued to claim that Krishnamurti was the new world teacher. But in 1929, in front of 3,000 members of the society, Krishnamurti renounced his membership. For the next 50 years, he gave talks all over the world telling people that God is in all of us, and that above all else, we should be kind to one another. Just something to think about. See you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Who's that woman over there?
That is the infamous Mata Hari.
She's an artistic dancer, my love.
Dancer, my eye.
I'm not really in love.
He's in heat.
Who are you with? That is none of your business.
Do you realize how much trouble you're in?
I guess not.